Hey there, this is KP with Coronavirus Diaries, a channel dedicated to the documentation of a world under lockdown. Today I'm going to ask the question, is COVID-19 a bigger deal than the seasonal flu? And the answer is a resounding yes. How come, you ask? Well, it has to do with RNA sequencing, in other words, genetics. Now, you're going to hear me throwing around RNA and DNA kind of interchangeably, and just so you know what the similarities and differences are. DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid, and it's a molecule that lives inside every cell of your body, along with every other plant and animal in the world. And basically, it's a blueprint telling the cells how they are to replicate and come together to form a complex cell system. RNA stands for ribonucleic acid, and along with being much easier to say, it's a much simpler form of that blueprint, generally found in single-celled organisms like a virus. And although it does not share the complexity of DNA, it's similar in that it replicates the virus cells and occasionally mutates. Seasonal flu is an all-human virus. The RNA/DNA chains that make up the virus are recognized by human immune systems. That means your body has some immunity to it before it comes around each year. And you get that immunity in two ways, by exposure to the virus or by getting a flu shot. Novel viruses come from animals, and the World Health Organization tracks novel viruses in animals, sometimes for years, watching for mutations. Usually these viruses only transfer from animal to animal, pigs in the case of H1N1 and birds in the case of Spanish flu. But once one of these animal viruses mutates and starts to transfer from animals to humans, that's when it becomes a problem. Why? Because we have no natural or acquired immunity to this. The RNA sequencing of the genes inside this virus isn't human, and the human immune system doesn't recognize it, so we can't fight it off. Sometimes this mutation only allows transfer from animal to human, for instance rabies. And for years it remains transmitting only from an infected animal to a human before it finally mutates so that it can transfer from human to human. And once that happens, now we have a new contagion phase. And depending on the fashion of this mutation, that's what decides how contagious or how deadly it can be. H1N1 was deadly, but it did not mutate in a way that was as deadly as the Spanish flu. Its RNA was slower to mutate, and it attacked its host differently too. Now here comes COVID-19. It existed in animals for who knows how long, but then one day in Wuhan, China, possibly at an animal market, possibly in December 2019, it mutated and made the jump from animals to people. At first, only animals could give it to a person, but here's the scary part. In just 2 weeks, it mutated again and gained the ability to jump from human to human. Scientists call this quick ability slippery. The coronavirus, not being in any form a human virus, whereas we would all have some natural or acquired immunity to it, took off like a rocket. And this is because humans have no known immunity and doctors have no known medicines for it. And it just so happens that this particular mutated animal virus changed itself in such a way that it causes great damage to human lungs. That's why coronavirus is different from the seasonal flu, or H1N1, or any other type of influenza. This one is very slippery, and it's a lung eater, and it's already mutated again. And now we have two strains to deal with, strain S and strain L, which could make it even twice as difficult to develop a vaccine. Now, as an aside, I'd like to do a little myth busting here. You've possibly heard news stories circulated on social media that talk about 8 strains of coronavirus. And technically that is true, but you have to understand that coronavirus is a broad category of viruses that COVID is a part of. There are 4 common strains that generally are not deadly and produce only mild symptoms, usually the sniffles or a little bit of a cough. And then there are less common ones like MERS-CoV, where CoV stands for coronavirus, MERS stands for Middle East Respiratory System, SARS, which you've probably heard of, which stands for Severe Acute Respiratory System, and then SARS-CoV-2, the sequel, which is what causes COVID-19. And that one split into 2 strains. So yes, you could say that there are 8 strains if you want to cause a panic, but let's reel it back in a little and be honest with our reporting rather than creating clickbait. We have no tools in our shed with this. History has shown that fast and immediate closings of public places has helped in past pandemics. Philadelphia and Baltimore, for instance, were reluctant to close events in 1918, and they were the hardest hit in the U.S. during the Spanish flu. Henry VIII stayed in his room and allowed no one near him during the Black Plague, and just like us, he had no tools in his shed except social isolation. And right now it's hitting older folks harder, but this genome is so slippery that if it mutates again, who's to say what it will do next? Be smart, folks. Acting like you're unafraid is not the answer. Stay home and share this to those that are just not getting it. And if you have any pics or video that relate to COVID-19 or to social isolation, please reach out to us in the comments below or email us at coronavirusdiaries@gmail.com and we will be in touch. And subscribe to this channel so you know when new videos are going up. Thank you for watching, stay healthy, and God bless. This is KP signing off.